Good evening. We
Okay.
have actually disconnected earlier. Sorry about that. We had just technical issues. Now we are back on the grid. So we have our guest. We have my co-host Jennifer and our guest Patrick Empowers. And we are going to continue our discussion on Secret of Power influencers.
Brilliant. So do you want to hear a couple of tips on how to become more influential?
Please.
Absolutely.
I've got my pen. I'm here ready.
Well, I just gave you one of them, and that's asking questions.
Ah,
Absolutely.
Influencers ask questions because it's the person that asks the questions that lead the conversation. Right? You can direct the conversation in the way that you want by asking questions. And here's another thing I learned from Tony Robbins, and that he said that thinking is nothing but the process of asking and answering questions. Right? And when you think of it, can I ask you a question without you answering it?
no.
Is that possible? No, you can't really, right?
Nope.
You can refrain from verbalizing the answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot verbalize it, but you cannot not answer the question inside your mind. It's impossible, isn't it?
Yes.
Correct.
I just asked another question, another way, and people respond. So learning the power of question is probably one of the most powerful thing that you can learn ever. And I mean ever, ever, ever. It is just unbelievable to get people's attention, to lead them, to close them, to buy from you, whatever it is that you want them to do. You need to ask a question. Okay. Another thing that questions does is that it shows interest in people, right? When you ask questions about people, it shows interest, and in the process, you're learning something about them. And so what you're signaling to them when you're asking lots of questions to people is that you're interesting, you're important, right? And people love that, right? If you can show to them that you find them interesting and important, special, they just love you. It's crazy. Okay, so asking lots and lots of questions, and that's completely counter to what most people do when they go out networking. Most people, they think, oh, I need to learn my pitch. I need to do this, I need to say this to be interesting. No, the greatest secrets to success is to be interested instead of trying to be interesting.
Yes.
Now that is very interesting, because that is the kind of thing you would say to somebody who's dating. Because if you come in and say, well, I've got this and I've got that and I'm this and I'm that, instead of asking the other person, being interested in the other person and let them speak and let them talk, that's usually like the point at which you say, oh, I really like this person. Maybe I can give them a second date or another chance. So,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's just say the more you make. Right? It is really, and you still have to come from the right attitude. You can't just be doing this as a technique. Even if you do it just as a technique, it will still work a heck of a lot better than talking too much. But to really take it to the next level, you have to come from a genuine attitude of actually wanting to understand that person, their their world. Just like really from that place of wanting to understand their world. What's their dreams, what's their hopes and aspirations, what's their frustrations, what's their fears, and so on and so on. Right?
So does it help? Sorry, just to interrupt you. Does it help then that the topic and the business and the kind of job or whatever you're in has to be interesting to you to be able to be interested in the other person? Because if you're coming from a job or a business that you know, like, oh well, I'm just doing it for the sake of it, and then you're asking all these questions just to get someone in, then that's going to show, isn't it? It's going to show that you're not really interested in your own topic.
Yeah, I mean, if people are talking, let's I don't know, what would be something that would not interest me at all? See, that's actually hard for me to think about something that wouldn't interest me, because I am so naturally curious to learn about everything, and I think that's really a one of my biggest assets. That I'm naturally curious and interested in learning stuff. But let's just say it was something that really didn't interest. Oh, I know. There was actually a guy. I remember this very clearly. I met this guy, and I knew this guy's an influencer. Now, typically, influencers are not great talkers. I mean, they could be great talkers, but they don't talk a lot. right? Does it make sense? They don't talk a lot on a one-to-one basis because they are the ones who are listening, because they understand that to influence people, you need to listen. So people that talk a lot, typically not influencers, but I knew that this guy actually was. So there's some of them that actually is an exception to the rule. And I just decided that I was going to listen to this guy like he was the most, what the subject was the most important in the world. And it was around the subject of the American, what do you call it? The American War, the
Civil War.
The Civil War, like all the battles of the American Civil War. And I'm the person least into war because I was in Denmark. I refused to go into the army, and I'm just against violence and war and all that stuff. So is that for me? I was just trying to find an interest, and I listened to him, and that turned out to be become a really, really fruitful business partnership and friendship.
Okay,
right. Great. So you have to just force yourself to try to find an angle of how this could potentially be interesting to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, and at least you'll learn something. Right. I genuinely try to, if it's a subject that I'm really not interested, I'm trying to understand why they would be interested. Why is this so fascinating? Right.
So getting to the core of the person's interest in the thing that they're talking about, rather than just the thing that they're talking about. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Fabulous. So that's you've got like number one tip is questions, ask questions. And then another tip?
Number 2 would absolutely 100% be listening.
Okay.
But listening is more than listening. There's many errors you can make. And here's the funny thing, when I go out and do talks and say, well, you got to make people feel special and important and make them feel good about themselves. People say, yeah, I do that. And no, they don't. They really, really don't. And it's so weird. People have very, very, very little self-awareness about how they impact other people. And so what I mean by that is that they say, oh yeah, make people feel great. Really? We've had a 2-minute conversation and you cut me off 4 times? How does that make me feel? Right? Yeah. So that's one thing. Never cut people off unless you know specifically why. Right. I do that from time to time, but I know it's because there's a specific reason why I'm doing it. Otherwise, I really try not to. So that's just one example of how people are they're completely unaware of their own impact of people around them, and they're really not making people feel great. Right. So you got to listen, and there's 10 errors you can make in listening. And communicating with other people, and one of them is just cutting people off. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. No,
I just nearly cut you off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but that's also your job. That's your job here as a host. That sometimes you got to cut in and get to the point that you want to make. So that in this scenario is completely okay.
I was going to give you an example of being cut off myself and how it's left a mark on me. Okay. This presentation, went to a presentation, had to meet, and this is network marketing situation, went to the presentation. I was supposed to meet someone there who's really high up in the industry, and amazing presentation. Everything was brilliant until he was specifically supposed to meet me and my guest, and what he did was sent us away to watch a video and continue to his conversation with all the people that he knew. When I came back to find him, it's like, oh no, go back and do, go back and I'll be with you in a minute. And that minute never came. And I thought, well, you're not really interested in me. And from that point on, every time I'm supposed to interact with him, I don't want to talk to him. I really don't. I really feel I have this bad feeling from that time. And he's amazing at what he does. And he's helped so many people. But that's left a really bad taste in my mouth because I was just like dismissed. So, and he's probably totally unaware. Like you say, he's not aware of his behavior towards me. So I'm thinking, yeah, you're absolutely right. Don't cut people off.
And this brings in another very, very important point. And it's so funny now, like now that I'm on this side where, I've achieved something and I've broken through my fears and learned a lot about human psychology and all that kind of stuff. Like all the things today is like so clear to me. And it's just sometimes a little bit puzzling that people don't understand this. But people are really focused on, in so many different areas, they're focusing on completely the wrong thing. So they focus a lot, for example, when we talk about business networking and influence, about, again, learning how to say the right thing. And they practice these pitches. But you just proved to me, like, okay, let me ask you, Jennifer, apart from what you just described there, what did that guy say that night? Like, what was he talking about?
In terms of his presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just going through a normal presentation, talking about the company, talking about the system, talking about the, what can be earned, how we can get involved. It's just a normal network marketing presentation.
Great. So let me ask you, do you remember best what he said? What he said, or how he made you feel?
How he made me feel. Absolutely. Yeah. I can't remember what he said because obviously I summarized it.
There we go.
How he made me feel. This is over a year ago now, and I'm still feeling it. Yeah.
Exactly. And this can be in 10 years. If it's intense enough, this can be in 10 years. It can be 20 years. It does not matter. Because people will remember forever how we made them feel, but they won't remember what we said or even what we did in many cases. Right? Yeah. And that's why we need to start learning, how do we make people feel great about themselves? Yeah. How do we make them feel great about themselves? Not how do we show up and show them how amazing we are. Mm-hmm. Right. It's just weird. Like you were mentioning with dating earlier, and I hear this from women all the time, that there's a big, one of the biggest complaints about men and dating is that men just talk about themselves. Like they talk about themselves, and the men are like they apparently feel that they need to go in there and impress the woman with all the great things that they can do and all the things that they know, and all they need to do is to shut up and show that they care. That's all they need to do, and that will impress a woman more than anything. Right. And in general, I mean, it works both ways for men and women.
And us women love to talk anyway. So,
they sure let us talk.
Very true. Can I ask Jennifer? I think you're getting big echo coming up. I think from my side as well as from your side.
Yeah. Sorry, I put the phone back near the phone. Sorry. Okay. Is that any better? Does it sound better?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry about that.
It was fine from my side. There was no problem here.
Yeah, your side is perfectly fine. My side is also echoing at the moment?
No, it's all good. Okay.
So your question about listening is quite about being present.
Yeah. You really have to be present.
If you are not present, it means you are not listening. You are hearing everything.
Yeah. There's 10 errors you can make in listening, and just one of them is cutting people off. Another one is not really being present and thinking about what to say next, right? So when you think about what to say next, you're concerned about how they will perceive you, whether they'll think that you are smart or interesting and whatever. You're not focused on them. You need to be completely focused on them, almost like when you're in love. Right? When you're really in love, it's almost like you're in this bubble where there's nothing apart from this person that is important, right? There's only this person in this moment. You're so much in the moment. And Correct. If you can try to get into that kind of bubble when you are with people, they will trust you really, really fast. Because
that's fantastic, actually,
because you are very present.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. I believe the same thing with Sam as well, is when you're with a coaching client and you're in that zone with them and nothing else. The world, like God could come down, it could be a nuclear war, but you're in the zone with your client and you're asking the questions and you're getting the feedback from them and then taking them on the journey where they need to go. So, coaching skills for network marketers or business owners. Yeah,
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, Sam, so do you have another question?
Not at this moment. I think we have covered quite a significant amount of Patrick's wisdom in our show. Earlier, we have a breakup of technology, but we have captured a lot of things where Patrick has shared his knowledge and wisdom about how to influence people, asking questions, listening, not cutting off people, being present in their life, also caring about the customer. It's not always about money. Money will flow as once you start care about them, as they start loving you, caring about you, liking you. Because that's how they are going to talking about you. They will become your raving friends.
Absolutely. And you know, again, that will lead to a lot of money. I can't remember this book. I think it's called Hug Your Customers. I literally think the book is called Hug Your Customers. And it's about a chain of men's clothing stores which started in New York that's become phenomenally successful. And they literally hug their customers. Right?
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
And they were treating their employees like their family, and then also basically teaching the family to treat the customers like a family, an extension of that. And they created this incredible culture in the company, and that's just, you know, it's so attractive. It's just so attractive when you have that genuine love and appreciation, you know. And that's something I always said, like in the UK, you know, when I do lots of talks around and do the events at Entrepreneurs in London, lots of people will say, well, Patrick, do you have any great business ideas? What do you have for business? Well, first of all, get yourself into a network marketing company. Okay, this best business model that I know of, because you learn so many skills. You know, many great people that you admire today started network marketing. Zig Ziglar has been in network marketing. Anthony Robbins, like so many great people got their feet wet in business in network marketing. Second, I will say, if that's really, really not your bag, then just take any business concept out there today that is working well. Anything, like in the UK, especially in the UK, anything that's working well, and you do exactly the same as they do, same prices, same quality product, same delivery, same everything, but you deliver it with a genuine smile. And in the UK, you will have a £1 billion business. You can have £1 billion on your hand. And proof of that is Metrobank. Are you by any chance any of your clients at Metrobank? Yeah. Are they amazing or what?
Well, they do. Brilliant. I've got friends who are with Metrobank, and they just love them. Yeah.
And I heard I was actually in Metrobank in very early days, and listened to a talk by the founder, he's an American. He's a very successful banker in the US as well. And he said the biggest challenge with Metrobank and launching Metrobank in the UK was to teach the employees to smile. He said there was a big challenge. It is not something that is very common in the UK, right? Customer service in the UK, let's be frank, sucks.
Yes.
It really, really does. So in the UK, if you just learn to deliver your services, your products with a genuine smile, genuine caring, you have a runaway success on your hands there.
Yeah, and I can back that up as an example today, this very day. My sister came down from London because I'm on the southeast coast, and she's got some property down here. And I didn't realize how picky she'd gotten with her food. So I thought, I'm taking her to this really lovely coffee bar with lovely food and everything, all healthy stuff. And she's an athlete as well. So I thought, I'll bring her in. And there was absolutely nothing that she wanted to eat. And I thought, I don't want to leave here because the food's lovely, the coffee's great. However, the owners, she said, right, okay, this is my challenge for today. I'm going to make sure that I can find you something that you would love to eat. And she went through everything, like soups and this and that, and she found a lovely sausage roll. and they did a high five, and she really looked after her, went the extra mile. And my sister's an environmental, well, she used to work for a KFC, and she used to go and inspect all the, you know, the shops, the stores, yeah. And she says, listen, this is what you called customer service. You went the extra mile to make sure that I was looked after. And have you got a website? Because I really would love to give you a rating on there and just say how you really looked after me.
Yeah.
And all she did was like just give her a bit of patience and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make sure you looked after here today. Not, you know, like, well, sorry, mate, can't help you. Maybe you need to go somewhere else. No, she really went out of her way. So, and all it is a little bit of time. It didn't take any effort, really. She just went through a list of things that she thought, yeah, she probably would have made her something if it come to it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's so powerful. And, you know, it's so, it becomes more and more important every single year these days because, you know, because of the rating and social media. So it's important that we have positive ratings. And you know what? Any business will have negative ratings. You know, it just happens. There are just people out there, you know, you could make mistakes. It could be mistakes on your part. And people are just mad and they're unconsolable. Or it could be them that are just like miserable people. Right. So you need to really, really make an effort to get a lot of positive reviews as well, because it's just a matter of time. You will get some bad reviews. I mean, go and look for example, like somebody awesome like Tony Robbins, and look at Tony Robbins. Type in Google Tony Robbins scam or Tony Robbins review, and they'll be like, oh, Tony Robbins scam, this. Like the greatest people, the greatest businesses in the world would have people that really don't like them or even hate them.
Oh, yes.
That's good. At least there's an opinion, and you're not. At least no opinion is a bad opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have a question from one of our viewer.
Awesome.
What do you think about educating people as a way to influence?
Look, education is an amazing tool, and you know, I wish more people would take their education more seriously, because the reality is, I can't remember the statistics, but the reality is most people by far, they pretty much stop learning the moment they go out of school. And I cannot understand that mindset, right? So we need to keep on educating ourselves constantly throughout our life, constantly. There's just one problem that people one place that people go really wrong, I believe, in education, and that's that they keep on reading one book and then they read another one. I was talking to my guest this morning about it, and he was like, "I don't get it. People read a book and then they read another one, and then they read another one and another one, and that's not there's anything wrong with that. But the problem is, you know, when you start reading the second one, you can't remember what was in the first one, and you haven't even implemented it. And that is the key to success, is the implementation. And so what you need to do is, you know, you take a book and you underline, you make notes, and then you go out, you practice that, you implement that principle, whatever it is. You work on that single thing with single-minded focus until that is part of your life. Right.
Having said that, is there a book or a training that you can recommend for our questioner that could educate them in influencing?
In influencing, Influence. It's called Influence by Cialdini. Okay, that's probably the best one on influence. And then, of course, my upcoming training, Next Level Networking, where we talk not just networking, but really how to influence people. And it's at nextlevelnetworking.co.uk. The site is not up and running yet, but it will be available there. But hey, and by the way, I have a gift for the listeners before we end. So just remember to ask me that at the end of this amazing gift.
Yeah. Please.
Fabulous.
Please. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody who has joined us today. This is a segment called Believe in Business. Passion, creating passion within business with Sam and Jan. We are trying to bring in excellent entrepreneur who would be able to share their wisdom and their knowledge with our audience. Today we had Patrick Power, who is an expert in influencing people. He is an MLM expert, who is starting a accelerated course, which is he's been offering. And this segment has been sponsored by Making T Sang. She is a social media strategist, and she's offering 30 minutes of her precious skills to help businesses who are looking to increase their social media handles, social media area of a place where they are failing at the moment, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's LinkedIn, whether you would like to do a lot of tweets. She has organically developed about 7,500 people. She also involved in tea, so she also sells tea, and her brand is excellent. And so please, we'll get some more information about her on the segment. And if you have many more questions, please do not hesitate to ask us while you are listening to our this segment afterwards, if you are not live at the moment. So this is Sam Dosa. I'm a business mentor and a coach, and specialize in burning out. And my co-host is Jennifer Beaumont-White. She's I always forget her.
Emotional freedom specialist.
Emotional freedom specialist. Yes, she loves. She said I beg your pardon. Beaumont-White, an emotional freedom specialist, and she is started a new group as well, which is all about love and more love and spirituality.
It's called Live Authentic.
Part of our businesses and everything. So please get in touch with her and how she can help you to increase the vibration.
Fabulous. And Patrick, if you'd like to give us your offer, what you're offering our guests this evening.
Absolutely. We'd love to. So if you want to take your business and your life to the next level, again, you need to learn influencing and you need to educate yourself continuously. So I have an offer for you. Go to facebook.com/Patrick M. Powers. If we're already friends there, just send me a message saying we were on this show and we would like your book. Okay. And I'm going to give you an option between two of my books. You're not going to get both. And they're not free ebooks, right? They're not, it's not one of those things where you go to a lead capture page and you get this free ebook. I do not give these books away for free normally, but you'll get a choice between either turn your contacts into cash, which is about general business networking and influence, or if you're in the network marketing industry or plan to be in it, you can get 87 ways to grow your network marketing business. One of those two books, and you just tell me which one you want, and I'll get that over to you right away. And remember, if we're not friends already and you send me a friend request, remember to send me a message where you know me from, because I'm almost at the limit of 5,000 people and I get a lot of weird requests from people around the world. So I don't accept everybody, okay?
Fabulous. Patrick, that is absolutely beautiful. I'll be definitely putting in a request for one of those books and probably buying the other one because they're both really interesting and and I promise I won't read them back to back. I'll read one and implement and then read another one and implement.
Love hearing it.
Absolutely.
Love hearing it.
Thank you so much.
One of my listeners in one of my Facebook lives the other night, I was literally just like a 10, 14-minute Facebook live. And she said on my Facebook just a couple of days later, it's just like, Patrick, you're a genius. I took what I learned from that Facebook live and I went out and signed up 3 people.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Love action takers. Yeah.
Yes.
Be an action taker. Don't just be a reader. Like I say, leaders are readers, and then they are. But what leaders really are is action takers.
Action takers. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, Sam.
Fantastic.
I'm handing it back all to you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Patrick, for being giving us the honor to have you on our segment. Believe in Business. It was a pleasure speaking to you and listening to your wisdom and your knowledge, and hope people who have been listening to our this segment have learned something from our guest. And as the offer lies over here is send him a friend request and give him the choice of your books. We will get the name of the books again from him and put it onto our feed over here. So you will have to choose yourself which book you would like to go for, and connect with our guest. He's a very big influencer in multi-level marketing, and his accelerator course is coming, which is 30 days course, which is going to be free as well, which is offered. So please get in touch with him. And what I would say, when you get somebody's influencer like Patrick, you can always avail a lot of knowledge from him and get him as much as possible. So thank you very much, Patrick, once again. Thank you, Jen, for being my co-host today. And
thank you, Patrick. It's been really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Okay.
And I will be mixing. Well, we have a bit of a technical issue earlier, so I will be mixing two of the segment together, making it one, and getting our sponsors' information as well, so you can get some more freebies from a lot of people coming in. So watch the space for our next guest, who is going to be excellent influencer as well as motivational speaker coming into our segment. So watch the space with the time and date and also the person's bio. But if there is any more questions to anybody, please do not hesitate to ask us on the feed, and we will try our best to answer those questions. For now, we say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Patrick.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye. Bye.